Hello everyone, wherever you're watching us from, this is Primetime Analysis and my name is Victor Onyango. Yesterday, President William Ruto, for the first time, acknowledged the incompetence that is in his team. He singled out heads of departments and principal secretaries, where he acknowledged that some of them are clueless and do not know things happening within their ministries. But he did not end there. President William Ruto went ahead to fire warning shots to cabinet secretary members. This was aimed at ensuring that he gets his team that is streamlined towards achieving his desired goal and objective. In this analysis, I want us to expound on the reasons behind William Ruto's outrage, and especially how this is linked to Raila Amolo Odinga. Before we begin, if you're watching us for the first time, please take a second to subscribe to our channel and also like this video. For those who are supporting us already, some of you, I know you personally because of the continuous engagement that we have. I really appreciate the support you are giving us. Especially let me acknowledge Betsy Akoko, Stella Nyambura, and David Joroge for the great support that you always give to this channel. Now let's jump into it. Kenyans have asked themselves this question. Why was William Ruto so outraged yesterday? Because these are cabinet members and members of the executive team that he has been working with since he was sworn in. Why was it that this happened yesterday? And different theories have come up. People have said that he is now serious, he wants to engage in serious work. Others have said that he was angered by the people who came late to the meeting. And here and there, people are throwing reasons all over. But there is a link that many people have not talked about. And this is the link of Raila Amolo Odinga. You know, we are told that over the weekend, Raila Odinga and William Ruto had a very long meeting together. Two people, and a third person was Olusegun Obasanjo. And what these people discussed has remained scanty, because you realize that if you look at the letters that were given from Kimani Ichung'wah, he stated that people wanted to talk about prime minister position, two-third gender rule, things that are very flimsy. But I'm starting to get a different signal from the president. The president got out because he knew one thing. For a long time since the election, he has been dealing with the question of legitimacy and trying to prove that he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. And that is why you realize that at most events that he has been having in the past, his main topic of discussion is that elections are over, he is the president, and is implementing his agenda. But if you look at his recent tone, starting from the weekend interdenominational meeting that he had in the coastal region, William Ruto has changed. He has started to be presidential. He has started to be a little bit civil with the opposition. And he has started to try to look like he is serious and he wants his cabinet to work. And that is why you realize that immediately after the meeting they had with Raila Amolo Odinga, he gave it some few days to rest and then got to work. And that is why yesterday they were signing the performance contract that they were having there. But I want us to look at one thing. The question about cabinet reshuffle is something that is lingering around every cabinet secretary right now. Because if you heard the president speak yesterday, the president was very categorical. And he said that if anybody gets to a meeting and an appointment with employers late, then he has like already fired himself or herself for that matter. And this was sending a strong signal to the cabinet members. I want to tell you because details are emerging that some of the agreements that were made between Raila Odinga and William Ruto was that certain slots of cabinet secretaries were going to be placed in such a way that the cabinet will look like it is not a shareholder thing, but even those who are in areas that are perceived to be critical of the government will get some serious appointments. And this was reported in KTN yesterday. If you listen, kindly watch this video.
The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has today held its parliamentary group meeting in Nairobi to strategize ahead of the new bipartisan talks that are set to start soon. However, details of the real deal between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga have remained scanty, with some sources indicating 3 cabinet secretary slots and an international duty for the former prime minister are on the table in the arrangement that could see a reshuffle in cabinet and a substantive leader of official opposition.
The details of the secret night meeting between Odinga and President Ruto in Mombasa 5 days ago have remained under wraps, but sources have intimated that a discussion to have 3 cabinet secretary slots in government granted to Azimio alongside other ministerial and ambassadorial dockets came up during the talks. Reports have also indicated that Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka could be considered for the official leader of the opposition, while the Azimio principal Raila Odinga possibly going back to the African Union for a high-level job.
Now you can note that there was a discussion that certain cabinet appointments and principal secretaries and heads of parastatals would be up for grabs for regions that are looked at as being marginalized, especially in this government. So in the meeting that they had between President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, that was a discussion that they were having. Another thing you will note, one of the people who is highly targeted with these sackings or even reshuffling is Moses Kuria. And many things have worked against Moses Kuria. First of all, at the heat of preparation for demonstrations, Moses Kuria made certain remarks that were very, very controversial. He has been tweeting and dropping things here and there without thinking twice. And this costed him a meeting with one US trade official that came to Kenya. Remember that Kenya and US are gearing towards having a great trade deal that they're going to have, and Kenya is going to be used as a satellite and an anchor within the region. With this stake, and having seen how the US have already perceived Moses Kuria, I do not think for any way that at the time when the trade deal will be ripe and that the 2 ministers will be signing these agreements, I don't think it is Moses Kuria who will sit down and sign. Because since the US officials have refused to meet Moses Kuria, there is no way he will be there to sign these deals. And for that matter, there is a high chance that Moses Kuria will be reshuffled. Another thing you will note is that the kind of words he threw at Raila Odinga were very bad. In fact, contemplating things like death and certain bad things happening, talking about hiring somebody, 50 million payment, such kind of things. I can tell you that could have been one of the topics that Raila Odinga and William Ruto sat down and talked about. And for this, Moses Kuria must watch himself keenly and tread carefully so that he does not fall in the wrong hands of his boss, President William Ruto. If you listen to how Rigathi Gachagua spoke, take a listen.
And sometimes I wonder, why do you have to honor every invitation that you have been given to every country? Your Excellency, at times we have tried to hold cabinet committees, we can't. 5, 6, 7, 8 ministers are out of the country. Some change clothes at the airport from one country to another. That is the truth. Why can't you regulate yourself? If the president was to travel and honor every invitation, he will be out of this country the whole year. You just have to decide what is useful and other things you can leave to our ambassadors out of the country. Please let the president not limit your travel. Just be responsible. You have a work to do, and the work is here in Kenya. Again, Your Excellency, we have done so much as an administration, but the information is not out there. Our ministers are quiet. They are called for TV interviews, they don't show up to say what they have done. And then the media have a field day because nobody talks for government. I would rather we spend more time explaining to the people of Kenya what we have done in our respective dockets as opposed to travel. And if we have to travel, let's travel up country to where wananchi are and explain what we are doing. I don't think the president will cap your travel out of Nairobi. I don't think he will.
In that video, the main topic of the discussion is travels. The person who has been traveling most in this government, there are two. One of them is President William Ruto, and another is CS Moses Kuria. You realize that over the weekend, just after the discussion, the engagement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, President William Ruto gave a directive that no cabinet secretary is allowed to have meetings more than 14 foreign trips. You get that? That tells you that the discussion they had was something that was touching on Moses Kuria in one way or the other. The engagement has led to President cutting down on the foreign travels because he has been having them all over. Why do you think the president gave that directive that cabinet secretaries are not allowed now to move out of the country and stay outside for more days? Moses Kuria was the victim. And even if you hear how Rigathi Gachagua is talking, he's saying that some cabinet secretaries are changing clothes at the airport, moving to another country. Who is that? It is pointing at Moses Kuria directly. This tells you that Moses Kuria is somebody who is seriously under siege. To make things worse, Moses Kuria comes late again and he gets locked out of that meeting. I can predict that if he will not be given a ministry that is not serious, he will be demoted or released from being a cabinet secretary. And the things will be hard for him. This has shown us that in politics, there is need for civility because today's enemies will be tomorrow's friends. And at the time when you are fighting so hard to ensure that one person falls, you do not know whether the person you are bringing out down today will be the person who is supposed to bring you up tomorrow. Politics remain very dirty and tricky. And in Kenya, for that matter, it is not a joke at all. We know, as we have seen, the issues that are being planned to be talked about between these members, the two parties, the Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio group, have become contentious a little bit. But I believe the issues that were raised by Kimani Ichung'wah are just their issues in terms of what Kimani Ichung'wah and Rigathi Gachagua thinks. But at the final time, they will get down and talk. Raila Odinga and William Ruto will find a way through which they engage together so that they iron out the difficult issues and get Kenya moving forward. That's my take. I don't know what you think about it. Please, if you're watching us for the first time, kindly remember to always subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and let's meet in our next analysis. May God bless you.